Guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. Finally, Adil have decided to join since the weekend's win of Manchester United. He's decided to turn up today. How are you, Adil?
Yeah, okay.
As you can hear by his voice, he's very excited. But yeah, we are missing Cam this week because Liverpool didn't win, so that's why he's away this week. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get started with the game at the Emirates Stadium where Arsenal won 1-0 from a Martinelli deflected goal. First win, what I think is in 12 games against Man City, 12 in the league and 17 or something overall everywhere else or something like that, some stupid, crazy stat. But yeah, what did you make of it, Adu?
Yeah, good. Well, I was actually just about to say good game. I actually found it really boring, but yeah, it's one of those.
Scruffy. That's
Yeah,
what I
it's
thought it
a
was.
tactical game. Um, you know, first time I've really seen City play a game where I genuinely felt like um they didn't play to win. The build-up play was incredibly slow. Even when there was gaps to go on the counter, they chose not to. They just wanted to, slow the tempo down and keep the possession. They were so worried about Arsenal, and I mean, it's the second time ever where I felt like City were, like there was a time when Liverpool were in their form, and they had Wijnaldum and all of them in their midfield, where I felt that Liverpool team was better at beating the press of cities.
Yeah.
This is the first time where I genuinely felt there was a team that was better in possession and better, more comfortable in possession play than City. And yeah, it might have something to do with um,
Rodri missing.
not just that, but there's a stark difference in the level of level of pressing that this City did and the teams of yesteryear. But so that makes keeping possession for the opposition better. But definitely in terms of confidence on the ball, Arsenal were the better team. They were better at keeping the ball and they looked more adventurous. So it's just strange to see a City team where they barely ever really looked to attack with any conviction.
Mm.
Only time they did was from deep when Walker would overlap. Other than that, didn't see any of Foden or anyone in the wing position ever. They were always coming central to try and dominate the midfield, and I just felt like they were so worried about trying to dominate this Arsenal team that they forgot to attack or to really play with any intensity in their attacking.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they started off quite well. They had that chance in the first odd minute where Declan Rice cleared it off the line. Was it Haaland or someone? No, it was Gavidol that shot it. And then obviously Ake had that initial chance. And then after that, they didn't really they looked threatening because they were intercepting quite a few nervy passes from Raya. But apart from that, they didn't look that threatening at all. It was more of a scruffy game where there's loads of fouls conceded, etc. That whole half was like that. That's what it felt like. It was a very scruffy game. Both team kind of feeling each other out more than anything. No one's really good in the final third, if I'm being honest, because all of them, even the midfielders, looked off it in terms of their passes, etc. Everything. It just looked very scruffy. No confidence.
Yeah, both teams were definitely giving each other a lot of respect and more worried about the damage each team could do to each other
Yeah.
rather than backing themselves. But it still felt like Arsenal when they attacked, they were trying to attack with some rhythm. There's a lot more rhythm and pace in their attacks.
Yeah.
Uh, Cities was significantly they're slowing down the game. They're doing something different that they never ever do. And that was strange. That was just strange to witness the amount of respect. And that was you could tell from the lineup. I mean, uh, I understand they've lost Rodri, they've lost De Bruyne, but Um, he kind of went, kind of went to a 4-3-3 today when he's been going 4-2-3-1
Yeah,
most of the season. So yeah, I yeah, that concern was there when last season. That's the best team we've seen in terms of efficiency. They were they weren't so philosophical in the way they play. They
yeah,
were so tied down to their philosophy. They kind of were more pragmatic, more direct, and I saw that as maybe one of the reasons for that was because Lilo had left it as their sister, and they went back to the others, and they were more stats people, and they relied more on set pieces and more pragmatic approach, and adaptable. Now Lilo's back. I was thinking that in the summer. I wonder if they're gonna go back to that over philosophy and over trying to do the false nine and over trying to dominate possession and in big games overthink it because that's
mm,
what the hallmark of Lilo was assist. So I don't know if that played a part, but it was certainly a performance where City didn't pack a punch.
no, no.
Strange. I mean, even they didn't, and not at any point did they look like they wanted to win that match.
No, no. I mean, it was going towards. I mean, the second half did start where Arsenal looked really good, and then obviously he made that triple substitution, which kind of brought the game a bit more into balance, and then Arsenal made the substitution and kind of went the other way again. And then obviously that's where it comes from. Tomiyasu's header to Havertz lays it off, and Martinelli obviously with the deflection of Aki's face. Lucky, but yeah, sometimes you need that luck, right? When you haven't beaten them in so
I
long.
I don't see it's like it's positive. At the end of the day, Arsenal were the team playing positive. Arsenal were the team
Mm,
looking to win. Arsenal was the team trying to attack, and City weren't ever doing that the whole game. So it's deserved win. I mean, Arsenal, as much as it's a cagey game and it's a tactical game, like a chess match, it was, one team was looking to defend more than the other team, and the
yeah,
other team was looking to attack. So I felt Arsenal deserved the win. And when you look at the end of the game, Arsenal ended with a stronger lineup than what they started, in my opinion. They
yeah,
looked more solid at the end of that game. 5 minutes, he's throwing the dice. He's going with four subs, all slightly stronger. In my opinion, Partey stronger than Jorginho.
yeah, 100%.
Havertz coming on was stronger than Trossard in this game, which was non-existent. I thought Martinelli stronger than Nketiah. Um, Tomiyasu and Zinchenko similar, offer different things. But
I mean, I hate Zinchenko, so like I'll just say it out straight. I mean, Tomiyasu, I mean, he gets the pre-assist, mate.
yeah,
So
either way, they ended up stronger. If you look at City, they ended up weaker once they brought their subs on. Doku just looked all at sea off the ball. Like at times, he was literally at left back, and I'm
he
thinking,
was
what? How much more do you want to drop back?
he was feeling it. Even Ben White was nutmegging him. He was feeling it today. He felt it today. I don't know why. Maybe he was a bit, but that's strange. And we'll get to that because obviously they had Jack Grealish on the bench as well that they could have brought on. But what I was going to come to you before we get to that is, do you think Kovacic should have stayed on the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, it's a yellow card foul. I mean, you can't start changing what we've seen all season. All season, that's been a yellow card. It wasn't.
No, 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 no. That's fine. But then the tackle straight
Yeah,
after.
yeah. I just think yes. Every
Because
game.
if what the reason why I say is because of the consistency. Because in any foul he was happening, he was booking the players. And if you look at that tackle, it was pretty similar to the first one that he made on Odegaard. So if you're going on that basis, that's a definite booking and a yellow card. It should be off.
I don't know. I don't think like I saw the whole weekend, even last weekend.
I'm not talking. I'm not referencing about the weekend. I'm saying talking about this game. If he's going on the basis of how he's been
But
as a
my
referee,
response is
it should be.
specifically about not changing anything just because it becomes a talk or every game this season I've seen most of the time when it hasn't, when the guy's done a second foul after receiving it, they've not given a second yellow.
Mm,
The
mm,
only one was Jota because the tackle just you couldn't get away with not giving a yellow for that. This one was one of those borderline where you could get away with not giving it, and the ref didn't give it.
mm.
It's not about being controversial and sending a player off. It wasn't a dirty tackle. It wasn't a counter attack situation. It was just a late tackle.
Mm.
I thought the referee done the right thing because that's what's been happening all season. There's so many games where I'm like, give the second yellow because you're rooting for one team over the other, but the referee hasn't done it, and he could have done. So suddenly, to change course just because of a big game, I don't think the game warranted that. I don't think, it's one of those he could have, and you would have felt it's a bit harsh to give two just straight away like that. I
But
don't.
that's the view. He should have been sent off.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's just consistent with how the season has gone. But yeah,
Mm.
I mean, he could have done, but I haven't seen referees go on like that all season where they give you, after yellow they don't give you a chance. They do give you a chance, for another foul. And I remember I thought the
I,
same thing happened in a couple of games I watched yesterday. The exact same thing happened where a player got yellow carded and then clumsily done a tackle again, and you're asking the question, well, shouldn't
mm.
the one come out? It could have come out, and they didn't. So I don't know. It's clumsy of Kovacic. They are maybe fortunate, but I don't think it's
I think City got to get away with another one. But anyways, I mean we won, so doesn't matter now. But I think but it still doesn't take away from the point. I think City get away with another one because they do get away with a lot of these. Because other team in these scenarios they don't get away with it. But with respect to the point you were making before with City substitution, do you think they should have brought on Jack Grealish maybe? Um, just because of the obviously connection with Haaland, etc. They've got that because Haaland didn't really have any sniff or anything.
the thing is, we don't know what his fitness status is. Obviously, he's been injured. Number two, this is what Pep does. Even last season, he kept players on the bench who would normally come on, and that's how he's trying to motivate them. He's trying to motivate them by keeping them on the bench so they find out when they do come and they add a bit of impetus to the team. So maybe it backfired because more than anything, Grealish now is one of the hardest working players in the team. So he may have done better against White and help to stop the momentum that Arsenal had towards the end of the game. And also he would have brought fouls, he would have killed the time, he would have probably been slightly more better on the defensive side. So yeah, you can't question it from that point of view because they definitely didn't play to win. So it would have made more sense to play Grealish because he's actually would have done more work off the ball than Doku.
100%, 100%. And what did you make of obviously Arteta finally getting a win over Pep after so long, 12 games?
I don't know. I find it strange how everyone makes a big deal out of it because he's beaten him in the cups.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's something.
Well, they make a big deal because I think was it 12 times they played in the league and Guardiola got beat him every single time. I think that's why.
I don't know if it's that many times in the league, but I think
12, something like that. 11.
overall, but yeah, obviously maybe 5 or 6 of that is with Arteta as the manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see it as a big like it's a big statement win because it just keeps that momentum going. It keeps that belief in Arteta, and Arteta's telling them every day we can win it, but we got to keep focusing on the next game.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep winning, and as long as the manager is making changes and those players coming on are the ones making the difference. It just keeps feeding into that. This is our year. Keeps feeding into trusting the manager. Everyone's sticking and uniting to the message. No question, no doubt. So I think that is huge, and no doubt about it. Beating City is a huge
Massive.
statement.
Yeah.
It does matter. I mean, um, so definitely, yeah, it's going to be harder for City this season. We said that
Yeah.
anyway, that it will be a lot harder.
But
Uh,
I mean, it was a Peter who said back in that point. I think last year, if Arsenal had beaten Man City, any of the like the double headers, it'd have been Arsenal that would have won it because that was the difference basically, between the two. So this is it's massive in terms of obviously giving Arsenal that belief that they require. But in terms of City, that's two on the bounce in the league. Is there cause for concern?
yeah, 100%. I mean, they didn't play to win. They didn't play to attack. They didn't look like creating much. Um, that's as blunt as I've seen a City team ever. I mean, attacking wise, the biggest threat was Walker.
Yeah.
I could not, while watching it, I could not understand what position Bernardo Silva was actually playing. It was like he's playing a free role.
He was so I think what they've done in this game is usually he plays on the right wing. So I think they moved Alvarez, who's been amazing for them, I think, this season so far. We're playing that number 10 De Bruyne-esque position. But they moved him to the right and then put Bernardo Silva in the middle alongside just to like obviously dominate that midfield a bit more. But yeah, it just didn't work with moving Alvarez. And I think even taking Alvarez off was a mistake because he's such a threat still.
Yeah, and the other thing was Foden, non-existent the whole game.
Yeah.
Just wasting him. He's been played in so many different positions. Um, when he came on near the end, went past 2, 3 players. You just think a player of that talent who, in a cagey game like this, where the difference is beating your man sometimes, he just felt like they City needed him in the middle today, or coming in off that right, where he just comes into that 10 position a bit more
Mm.
and slides past players and makes the difference. Just putting him on that left and then barely getting the ball to him because he kept coming in.
Yeah, I mean he did switch it to moving back to the right, but he wasn't ever getting the ball anyways, to cause any issues or in that transition moment where he can beat a man where he's isolated, etc. I don't think there was any opportunities for that.
Yeah, and we said that Rodri's their best player for a couple of seasons. He's been the standout, the leader, and they're really struggling without having him dictating the play.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely the play is a lot slower.
Yeah, I mean clearly struggling without Rodri. I mean he's back after international break, so hopefully that engine room will be not
Yeah, I
hopefully,
mean,
but engine room will be
very,
running.
really, really costly suspension because obviously they were getting by while he was on the pitch. A lot of the time, he was the difference maker.
I mean
So
he's been scoring some crucial goals, man.
yeah, to get suspended or even assist, but to get suspended for the reaction that he gave
Yeah.
is inexcusable, and we can now understand why Pep Guardiola was so animated afterwards because it has cost them. I mean, they've dropped points.
But yeah, they've dropped what 6 points. They're out of the Carabao Cup because they lost to also Newcastle. So yeah, clearly it's impacted them a lot. But don't you think maybe she should have a bit more faith in like Calvin Phillips and put him in there because essentially he has brought Calvin Phillips to be the backup for Rodri in these scenarios.
No, he hasn't though, because he made it clear to Calvin Phillips that he can leave, and he wanted to sell him. So
Mm.
I think Pep Guardiola discarded him, and the biggest statement is the two big statements for Calvin Phillips if he hasn't already realized where he's in the pecking order.
Yeah,
Nico Williams has started
Rico
ahead of
Lewis, Rico Lewis.
Nico Lewis, and then Stones coming back from injury comes on
Yeah.
before in midfield. So I think and Kovacic, injured, not looking very good or confident, just getting the nod ahead of him while Rodri's out. It says a lot. It says a lot about where Pep views Calvin Phillips. So, and he made it clear to. I mean, Pep has said it, and that's even worse. Is one thing is keeping it behind closed doors that you've spoken to a player and said you think it's better if they moved on. then when you let the press know, it's like you're clearly trying to push him out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
yeah, it's a strange one, but obviously, if you have someone like that, you should still. Yeah, I'm sure he could have probably made a difference, but clearly he doesn't trust him, and he trusts someone like Lewis a bit more. Um, that's it really. There's nothing more to it, to be honest. I mean, Arsenal sit top of the table alongside Tottenham Hotspur on 20 points. And then you've got Man City on 18 and then Liverpool on 17, who played Brighton today. Away at Brighton, 2-2 draw. What was your view of the game?
yeah. So the City Arsenal game was two teams playing a similar style, so many similarities, cancel each other, and this was the exact same thing, but totally different style.
Opposite.
The
Yeah.
two best attacking teams, or the teams that are just reckless in their attacking, such commitment to attacking and just going for it. And um, to my surprise, Brighton were unlucky. The better team in that first half. I mean, how Liverpool ended up going 2-1 up
I don't know.
because once, and this is the thing. Again, probably the going down 2-1 that doesn't help. But I was actually impressed while I was watching it. Soon as Brighton went 1-0 up, they went back. They went into a possession game, and they weren't going gun ho for the goal, and they were trying to force, um,
Liverpool out.
yeah, and playing a different tempo, which impressed me because I was like, okay, wow, they're developing.
Yeah, yeah.
Seen quite a lot of them this season, but they just keep attacking and they end up conceding, and they keep being open, but they weren't. So then it was strange, and suddenly they end up with 2-1 down at half because they were playing so safe. So and possession and so it kind of, I don't know, probably
Even
didn't.
even I felt though, but even the pressing structure that he set up and the way isolating and allowing Allison and the two centre backs to have the ball and then pressing as soon as they make that pass, I think that was smart because obviously then they didn't allow the Liverpool midfielders to turn and have that space to play into the fast wingers.
The difference was that they were pressing when it went to Matip, but they're sitting off when it went
Van
to
Dijk,
like.
yeah,
Uh, I noticed that straight away, and
yeah,
then the first goal is from that move.
it's yeah, exactly.
And you look at both goals, first goals for each team is the fault of the captains. And everyone talk about McAllister for that. I mean, how do you justify the pass from Van Dijk where he plays it on the outside where the danger is, and then he under hits the pass? So when you go people right, you need to zip that ball in. Then the player will
Yeah.
naturally cover his shoulder because of the speed of the balls coming. He's realized since the danger. Or when he takes the touch, he's straight looking over his shoulder because he's gonna wonder why was that ball zipped in.
Mm.
So I think,
No, but sometimes also when you ping it to a midfielder at that speed, maybe that someone's coming, so you just do a wall pass back straight away because of the speed of the pass. But then the other thing also like striking to me is when you change the angle and they were showing it obviously from Van Dijk's view, right? When he was about to make there was three players around McAllister, literally within 5 yards of him. So why are you playing that pass? You're not under any pressure or anything. That's just stupid.
yeah, but I just think yeah. So it's easy just to blame McAllister, and it does look poor that he doesn't recognize the danger or doesn't look
But
over
it's a
his.
poor ball from
I
Van Dijk.
think the real problem is the pass from Van Dijk.
Mm.
And then we've seen the goal. I mean, Alisson chances his arm and doesn't chooses not to go back on his line, which
No.
Adingham made him look silly, which I'm happy about because before the season started, I was raving about this guy that he's going to be a breakout
But
star.
listen, great finish though, isn't it? He read it straight away, boom, sharp thinking, didn't wait for it. But the whole game he looked live anyways. Every time he was coming off that right hand side,
He
it looks like
roasted,
he was causing issue.
he roasted Robertson the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean,
With that chop. It's the same move. It's that chop. He
yeah,
does
but
that
even when
chop
you
and
went
doesn't.
ahead of him a few times with a couple of quick, drag backs,
Yeah.
that trickery was there. I just thought he had Robertson, and maybe they didn't play that advantage more than they should have because he definitely had dominated.
Well, he potentially almost created that winning goal, anyways. Because if you look at the opportunity that Jao Pedro missed, I mean, it was glaring. It was glaring. Everything that you were told not to do once the ball is bouncing, in terms of leaning back, not having your foot knee over the ball, he done all of it.
The thing is, Jao Pedro is actually really good at those finishes. I've seen
Yeah.
score those type of goals where the ball just comes fizzed into the box. So yes, surprised he missed that, and really was surprised because as you know, we're talking about the matchup of Adingra having the better of Robertson, and I was kind of expecting Mitoma to have that over Trent.
Trent
To Trent's credit, I have to say he actually won the ball off him a
a
lot
lot.
of times.
Yeah.
And Mitoma only had a real field day once Gomez, which said a lot. But yeah, I was actually impressed with Trent's defending of Mitoma. It was better than anyone's, and he won the ball back a few times. So that was surprising.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean Brighton were really good. Surprised me, really did surprise me because every time they've played Ego. And when I've seen Baleba play, I've not been convinced. They just look off the pace.
I mean, even Baleba, I know there is some mistake in him. He's 19, but he looked good today. There was a lot of time he rode the tackle, beat the press, and he allowed Brighton to obviously get on that front foot and attack Liverpool. A lot of the time he rode those tackles.
Yeah, he's powerful, ain't he? And that was one of the main reasons why they done the switch at halftime and brought Gavin back in, was to kind of pin Baleba physically, to pin him down.
Mm.
What happened was there's an extra guy staying up top, so then Balaba couldn't press and hunt in the opposition half as much because he was
Yeah.
more preoccupied with picking up Gravenberch. So tactically, I thought I've been really impressed with Liverpool all season. Their second half tactics is spot on.
Yeah.
I know they ended up conceding, ended up being a draw,
Well, I
but
mean, they had the
game
opportunity.
better. Yeah,
Gavin Batch had an opportunity where it could have been 3-1.
you got to put that away.
Yeah.
You got to put that away. And the thing is, he could see the cross the ball the whole way, so it's not really excuse. I know World Cup someone saying, "Oh, that was a difficult." No, that wasn't because it was ahead of him the whole time. It's
Yeah.
difficult when you're kind of level or ahead of the ball to adjust.
Or he's slightly behind you when you're dragging it
Yeah,
back across.
but when the ball is being played fully ahead of you, no, that's an easy finish.
Mm.
So yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Um, really impressed with the performance of Brighton.
Well, I mean, they're just a point off Liverpool, so they're not far off anything. Um, and then Liverpool obviously 17 points. What do you make of their start? So obviously 8 games in. Brilliant start considering some of the situation they found themselves in, where like at Newcastle they were 10 men and they won. And then obviously last week what happened?
Yeah, but I think you see, it does feel like a slight tide is turning in the sense that um, before they're having such poor starts in the first half that they were going helter skelter second half, all out, and they get the results. And then kind of what's happened is they've had decent first halves, but they're not completely behind,
No.
and then they've ended up losing it in the second half. So they lost the second half by 1-0 today. They lost the second half. Obviously, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances for
Yeah.
last week. But it's not the Liverpool on the front foot bombarding you to get a win out and so kind of it just seems like they're better off having that slow start because they seem to win. And if you look at it, all those games they won at the start, we were complaining about how slow their start is, and they
Yeah.
need to get on top of this because
No, but you also got to now. I fair
that
point, but you
starts.
also got to look at the way other way in the sense that they've also given away a lot of opportunities to team, and some of these teams that they're playing now are a bit more clinical than the teams they have played. So he also evens up in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they've got a real problem with Matip. Looks like he struggles to see out games and physically to match it, and Van Dijk just doesn't seem on it. I mean, even today, just one of the main notes that I made about that first half was how much João Pedro dominated Van Dijk, and I felt
I think all Liverpool fans
that
will disagree with that, but yeah.
in that first half, definitely João Pedro had the better of Van Dijk, and you can just look at the stats, the amount of times Van Dijk took out João Pedro and fouled him. Quite cynical, a lot of them off the
Mm.
ball, on the ball, it was just all over him. Just couldn't get a touch of the ball.
Do you think that the referee was a bit more softer on Liverpool because of what happened? Because there was loads of fouls, but there wasn't any bookings
Definitely,
whatsoever.
definitely. And the thing was, some of them were counter-attack situations. So it was a bit strange. Like there was one where, in the second half, Baleba is about to break free, Gravenberch takes him out.
Yeah.
It's a trip, but it's a counter-attack, isn't it? So there's quite a few of those counter-attack situations, which is normally a standard yellow card. And I think, last week's events has maybe affected it in the sense that how, trying not to penalize Liverpool too much. It definitely the referee was a lot more softer.
Yeah.
And they got away with it because the first half, the amount of fouls Liverpool did, I'd love to know the stats, but it felt like they kept breaking up the Brighton's attack through fouling them non-stop. It was definitely visible in the game.
Okay,
That
so the stats 22 tackles for them.
What about fouls?
I don't have the fouls one on. I just got 22 tackles.
Yeah, so there's quite a few fouls where the ref they got Brighton had free kicks, but it was tallying up. There was quite a few. There's a lot of breaking up the rhythm of Brighton, and Brighton were really good in that first half. Uh,
There
but
were
I think you can't sleep on this Liverpool team. That attacking line is just something else, and you have to say
fouls. Oh, so sorry, tackles. So tackles was 22, right? Fouls committed 20 for them. And obviously for Brighton it was fouls committed. What's going on? The 1 second, I need to go back to that. Brighton had made 17 tackles, and out of them, only 12 were fouls.
yeah. So and when we were watching it, it seemed like a lot of fouls was taking place by the Liverpool players, the midfield, the defenders. Every time, Brighton were building up a steam, just a cynical foul was happening. But either way, none of them were dirty. Just surprised how lenient the referee was. But that ultimately, I have to say, Sabazlai is one of the contenders for signings of the year for me.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good, really intelligent, dictating the. He does everything. I mean, second half he went into more the defensive midfielder role, and they left a McAllister to roam,
Mm.
and he done that really well.
But
He's
but Adu, when he does become that deep line playmaker, because we've seen them with 10 men, right? When he does become that deep line playmaker, he does look awesome because he can beat that press. He can deliver a ball to the tee, and also he knows how to beat those defensive lines with the passes that he makes because technically he's very
Yeah,
gifted.
he definitely understands tempo. He definitely understands making the right passes, and he's got similar range to Trent. I mean, he passes into space, and it's similar to Trent. So I just think, yeah, as an all-round player, I always need a good attacking player, but his all-round game is phenomenal. Even his
Mm.
tackling.
A great box to box player, isn't it?
The first few games, as I found his tackling a bit dodgy. But already, since then, I've seen him really go into tackles, win it clean. He's a very impressive player, and he just looks like he's just excelling. So he's exciting.
He's definitely been one of the best players of the season so far, alongside obviously others, but in terms of obviously Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely.
Brighton, obviously, good result for them. What do you make of the Zerbi? Obviously, very passionate as you saw. He got yellow carded.
Yeah, yeah,
Typical, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, he's obviously wanted to get a penalty. It was never a penalty,
No, no.
another handball. Maybe a bit of a shout for a foul because that tackle for Matip was quite late, which
Mm.
ended up tripping, but that still would have been deemed harsh. So yeah, I think De Zerbi is impressive. He's trying to, and that was not their strongest lineup. They had a
And
lot
that's what I was gonna say. He's
of
rotating the squad a lot because that midfield is not consistent in terms of who
they
plays.
have Gilmore, who's been playing really well, no Dahoud today. Um, like I said, Ego, every time he's played, has struggled when I've seen him.
I mean, he was kind of forced to play Ego because they have a lot of defensive injuries. So, and even Lamperty that was coming back is not fit. So, is his kind of is his hands are forced to like play
Yeah,
certain players in.
and the fact is, Solly Marsh, who's a winger, had to play left back against one of the
Yeah.
best players in the league. And even though Salah scored 2 goals, I thought Solly Marsh actually defended him really good in the one-on-ones.
Mm.
Obviously, for the goals, that's an overload. And you could question Dunk
Oh, you can. I mean, you can even question Gross of what he was doing because he
Yeah,
also.
and for both goals, even the penalty, it
Yeah.
just feels like looks, and that might be due to fatigue because of he's the one player who's probably playing a bit more and being
That's consistent. Yeah.
rested less than the others. So yeah, no, really impressed with Brighton. I actually was thinking they might take a big loss today
Yeah.
in my prediction, but yeah, they impressed me again.
Impressive result against a on hot Liverpool. Um, excuse me. Moving on to top of the table, Tottenham Hotspur. 1-0 away win at Luton. I mean, what a chance we missed, man. Come on, man.
I
uh,
mean,
we had everything go our way. Red card, everything.
yeah, but I think obviously we've watched Luton a lot the last few years. We've spoken about Adebayo a lot in terms of his potential,
What,
but
oh,
his
what a
weakness,
miss, man.
his weakness is he doesn't meet the ball. He doesn't ever strike the ball. He pushes at it. He always nudges at the ball whenever he's finishing. He never strikes it, and that's always been a flaw of his.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to attack the ball when he's striking. So that's a shame because he scored against Burnley. Um,
Gas level, yeah.
yeah, I mean he should have been confident with that chance, and just can't understand how he messed that up. But I think Luton, I just when I see them play, I just don't see that brand of football causing defenses in the Premier League problem. I
Mm.
mean, you got Van der Ven, you got Romero. They got better headers of the ball than Morris and all of them. And you know, yeah, just crossing the ball. If it's yeah, you can say it's good the way they compete in. It's good the way they get the ball into those wide areas. There is a method to it that works, but then just crossing the ball and thinking that's your best route to winning a match in the Premier League. I don't think that's a recipe for. And it's a shame because a lot of times the build-up play up to the edge of the box is good.
Yeah.
Get there relatively quite easily, and then you see no movement.
But I don't even think that.
Stay on the edge.
Yeah.
Players out wide, stay out wide. There's no overlap. There's no one twos. It's literally get out wide, cross it in, and just those two strikers there. No
Yeah.
one is in.
And
And
that, and
Brand's chance,
yeah.
the header, clear cut chance, really. So
No, what I was gonna say, I mean that's the point, but also even the qualities of the ball because of them hitting it from so far away. Because usually it's always the wing back that's crossing it. Because of the distance, it gives the defenders so much time to set. So you're not ever moving that defensive line back or forth to cause any issues. Where then you know what, then you can use the leap of Carlton Morris to go and attack the ball, right? Because essentially they're standing still. because they're keeping that line, right? Because the ball's gone back and he's in. So they're not ever moving that line to affect it the way that they want to. So that's another problem. But I think it might help when they do get, obviously Barkley's coming back fit again. Maybe if they have the three of Nakamba, Barkley, and Nakonga, that might give a bit more quality to move the ball around a bit more. I think that's missing at the moment.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, like I said, I don't see any of those players really making it. There is a problem with the way they attack. They don't overload, they don't interplay, there's no runners off the ball. It's literally they're all waiting like statues for a cross to come in. So yeah, they do need to vary up. This is the Premier League. You can't expect the formula that worked in the Championship with so much more better quality teams and managers and defenders, the same formula to be the one that works. They do need variation, and there's no like they're good at creating those opportunities to get it. It's not like they're not.
Mm.
I just think, yeah, they need to try more things out in and around the penalty area rather than taking out wide and crossing it all the time. Um, and yeah, you have to say nothing but positives for Spurs. Every obstacle that comes in their way, they find an answer. The whole season, they find an answer. So they have really good mental resilience now. And you have to say nothing but impressed with their mentality.
But it begs to question, right? Because obviously that was one of the biggest things that Conte, Mourinho, everyone pointed out that there's no mental resilience in this Spurs side, and obviously then Big Ange comes, and obviously it seems like there is. So is it the case of obviously the managers, or is it a case of the players maybe giving it more because they like the football they're playing now?
I think there's a different intensity though with Mourinho and Conte. They're coming there to win.
Mm.
It is they're coming and they're pushing you to have a winning mentality.
So you're saying there's lack of pressure? Is that what you're saying? Because of that, obviously they kind
Uh,
of.
and no one's expecting them to challenge for the title. The problem was the moment they got Conte and Mourinho, the fans, everyone was expecting a trophy, and the pressure was a lot more. No one's expecting anything of Ange,
Mm.
and they're pleasantly surprised. So he's able to kind of build a team, and he's able to give out statements that oh we'll hit bumps on the road and kind of take the pressure off the players is because that expectation to definitely win a trophy is in there. They didn't even make Europe last year's season,
No.
so and they've lost Harry Kane, so much of the expectation to win a trophy has gone now that I just think, yeah, it's easier for them to build and perform. But again, there'll come points when that pressure will come back in, and then we will see whether the players can play.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are saying also if you look at the teams that they've played, the out of the 8 games, 3 of the games have been against promoted teams. So
I don't buy into that. I thought I know Sky Sports will make a big look at some of the other teams they've played though. They've
mm,
played Liverpool, haven't they?
they've played Liverpool, they've played Arsenal.
Exactly.
Um,
Played. Is it Brighton? They've played good teams.
did they play? I don't think they played
But
Brighton.
they've played good teams. It's not like they haven't. And they've played United in it.
Yeah, they played United. Yeah, they beat
So,
United.
so they've played teams that you would expect them to have difficulty with, and they've still kept momentum. So we're
Mm,
just talking about an Arsenal team that beat Man City. Tottenham played really good against them.
mm.
So I think that's lazy, stats. That's not really looking at the stats in a fair way because they've played a couple of the big teams and they've performed well. So what is there to question?
Yeah. Them and Arsenal are the only two teams still left unbeaten. I mean, Spurs and their fixtures don't look too bad either. Coming off after international break,
Yeah, and
big
and
chance for top four, or would you say more expected of them, or
obviously they've got momentum, they've got a head start. Um, I don't get too carried away at this point of the season. And we've seen it so many times. How many times did we say, "Oh, is West Ham going to get top four?" And then
Yeah, yeah.
fall away. Even last season, nearly Newcastle did the same thing. To get it, by the skin of the teeth, they managed to scrape it because Liverpool suddenly, dropped some points. But I don't know. Like I said, there's a long way to go, and it's more about uh, you know if they lose Madison or a couple of the key players, have they got enough? How do they react to that?
That's
Uh,
the
Now, they got no Europe. They're not having to manage their squad. He's playing his strongest lineup every game. They're fresh and they're mentally playing strong. They're playing a positive brand of football. They're always attacking. They've given up a lot of really good chances away, and I was a bit concerned about um the Vicario, the keeper. When I first saw him, the first game, I thought his diving looked a bit dodgy and that, but he's looking good now. He's looking quite
kind of
similar
set.
to
He's
Maurice.
settled a bit more, right? He's
Yeah. So yeah, you can't knock Tottenham. I mean, everything looks good. It's just Basuma, isn't it? I mean, that was madness. I couldn't believe. Thing is, I feel like he's been lucky a couple of times this
but
season.
it's not even that. You have to
A
also,
yellow card,
yeah.
got away with tackles or going mad at the referee, and I'm thinking, do you want to get set off? But finally, he's got set off.
You also got to rate the referee where it's due, right? Because a lot of referees probably would have just not given it and just given the red card. So you have to give it to
Yeah,
him.
it's easier to do in a Luton town.
Yeah, all right, cool. But you have to still praise them, man, when they do good, man. We
Yeah, yeah,
praise
yeah,
referees so much.
100%. But yeah, they're looking good. Let's see how they do without Bissouma, who has been colossal. But they got Højbjerg, who looked
Full,
really good in the game.
fulfilling, yeah, yeah. Højbjerg and Saar is another find that he's been really good. I thought him alongside Bissouma has been crucial for them.
Yeah,
Obviously, that gives up freedom for Madison.
I think that one game a week allows him to, recover and have the energy to
Yeah,
he puts a lot in. But I don't know. Like I said, I still think, when it gets to that November, December time where whether you're in Europe or not, there's loads of games coming.
almost 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see the squad being stretched, put it that way. And I don't know. Like when I look at Saar, when I look at Madison, can they handle those rigors? I'm not sure, but
But they
they,
got Bentancur coming back as well, so
yeah. Either
mm,
way, you
yeah.
can't have nothing but praise and be impressed by Tottenham at the moment.
Well, I
They,
mean, they go into international break top of the table.
yeah, and they deserve to be. I think they have had challenges. That's why I don't really like that thing. Oh, they've only played the bottom. Like they've had challenges in many games, and they've come away and they've answered it and reacted well in every one of those games. They went behind at United, came back.
No, United, it was nil. They won 2-0.
They want to. So which there was a game that I was watching.
Arsenal, they went one behind.
Yeah, and came back. So the stuff they've done that is like this is not the normal Arsenal. I mean Tottenham that we see. So yeah, you have to give them credit.
No,
They're looking
100%.
good, and they're
Let's
keeping
let's.
Arsenal up top. So
What's
they're,
that?
they're keeping Arsenal up top in it. So
I mean, the other way of looking at it is North London is up top.
yeah, yeah,
Is that the way? What they got? Yeah, they got same goal difference, everything. Pretty much.
yeah. Just goals good. So that's the
Yeah.
difference.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Chelsea, who won 4-1 at Burnley. What do you make of it? I mean, Raheem Sterling was on fire.
Yeah, I thought I was impressed with their game. Was it midweek they won? They look like they've turned the corner. That whole, rotating the three midfielders and not making them stick, has made a huge difference to their attacking play. Because they all basically cover each other and have that understanding of of responsibility that when one goes, the other one rotates.
Mm.
So it's kind of set as Caicedo as the D person and Enzo box to box and
Gallagher.
Gallagher, yeah, in the more advanced, but they keep rotating it to allow them the freedom. And I think Enzo looks a lot more comfortable playing a bit deeper.
Yeah. I think eight suits him. I think maybe they're playing with two eights with Gallagher and him, and obviously Caicedo sitting, but obviously the situational changes when it happens. But I think also Sterling looks a lot better coming from that left hand side rather than where he's been used on the right hand side more.
Yeah, we said that all season. To say the truth, there has been games where he's played quite well on the right, even.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
But on the left, he's just like he's a force. I mean, the pace at which he runs at you from that left hand side, it's scary, and it's always going to make things happen. Even sometimes he's just bundling his way through.
yeah,
But it's just intense, and it's a different proposition. And yeah, he definitely gets into the box more from that side, so he ends up getting more goals, more assists. So
I mean, he
yeah,
got what goal assist. I think I would call it a pre-assist for even the what's his name's goal, man. What Cole Palmer lazy off. I think it was Jackson for his goal. So yeah, I mean everything pretty much came from his side.
yeah. And the thing is, Cole Palmer's looked really good as well from the other side. He's created a lot.
Yeah,
So yeah, and even in midweek, Mudryk, I know he's unfortunately scored his goal, got injured, but even he's looking so. I think Pochettino, you have to give him credit, and that's the difference between experienced managers and inexperienced managers like Potter. Is they stick to the plan. They don't react to the noise, and you can just tell all he's done is he's stuck to the system. He hasn't kept changing the system, to please everything and to fix it. He's just stuck to focused on them off the ball, then focus on how they're playing on the ball,
yeah.
and then slowly just built up the confidence, built and they were playing good football to say the truth before the results came. Quite a lot of those games, if we be fair, would say they were the better team. They
Mm.
looked more incisive. It's
I
just
mean, according to stats, they've pretty much should have won every single game. But yeah,
yeah, because they're playing good attacking football, but they just couldn't put it away. And now that confidence is there, that mojo is there, that belief is there, and probably this, stumbled upon, the right mix of getting Sterling on the right side,
balance. Yeah,
giving that balance of a bit more of a threat from the inside.
yeah.
Yeah, they, they got too many good players not to
Too,
improve.
too premature to say they're back, or
Yeah, 100% because it's still a young team, and you know, all it needs is Thiago Silva to get injured, and you start wondering what is the defense going to do? Who's going to organize them? So, yeah, definitely too premature to say that. And funnily enough, playing Cucurella at right back is working for them. They look more defensively solid, and he's better at getting because he taking
because they're coming into his left foot, it's easier for him to tackle, isn't it? Around.
knowing that, but it's easy for him to play the ball into midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
The press is always covering the right foot, and he takes the touch with the right foot as if he's a right footer, and then he takes it to his left and plays it into Caicedo or Enzo. So they're finding keeping the ball a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Malo Gasto will be back, I think, for next game. So I think Cucurella will go back to left back. Yeah.
Well, I think Colwell is the first choice right now at left back. So
Whichever way. Yeah. Whichever way.
relegating that. But either way, yeah, it's they've done well. They've stuck to it, to their guns, and they're starting to pick up. They're playing good football.
100%. I mean, Burnley, they get the win during against Luton during the week. Obviously, coming to this game. What do you make of their start so far, and what do you make of Vincent Company? Obviously, hasn't been really easy for them. Still sitting there 18th, conceding a lot of goals.
I think he's very much taking the long-term view, long-term option, and most of the players the spine of the players that actually got them won them the championship last season. He's put them on the bench, so you're not seeing Cork or any of those players
No.
involved all of a sudden. So I think yeah, it's brave. He's they've invested in all these young talents, and he's chosen to bed them in and get them used to the Prem. So he knows what he's doing. He's taking that sacrifice of potentially
Short
uh
term for
losing
long
gain
term.
now, yeah, for long-term gain. I think because the club has pushed the boat out in terms of backing him, he's under that slight pressure to justify the investment by uh, retaining the value or increasing the value of those players. And the only way you can do that is by playing them. Um, and when if you watch the documentary, the Burnley one, which I thought was really interesting, it shows that I mean a lot of the transfer talk is company convincing the board to get this young player, and that it will he when you sell him he will make money back.
Mm.
So I feel like yeah, there is an element of that in the way he's discarded the spine of the team that got them up last season and put them all to the bench, and then he's playing Kolyosho and Amdani and all of them who they look good, and I can't say that they look out of their depths, but I think that experience
You
probably,
still need that know-how. You still need the Premier League is a different beast.
yeah, yeah, and you saw that with the goal, um, well, not necessarily the score, but when they brought some of those subs on against Luton, they looked like a bit more know-how, even though Luton were probably the team you would have thought they were going to go get the winner. Again,
I mean, great finish it was though. But
and
yeah.
Bruno Larson, I mean, obviously he's done it at Dortmund, he's done it in the German league. He's quite a good player. So yeah, I don't know. I bit surprised in the direction he's gone, but I still think it's going to be a bit like Nottingham Forest. They're going to have a stronger second half of the season where all the players start really believing in themselves, really start getting comfortable.
Here's a question for you. Will this be the first season in a long time where all three teams that come up go down?
No,
Okay.
like I still think Burnley will stay up.
Okay, that's fine. Moving on to your team, Man United, 2-1 win. McTominay, four touches, 2 goals. I mean, what did you make of the game?
Um, yeah, it's like watching Newton Town. It literally was just balls into the box, no creativity, um, you know, no rhythm. It's a hard watching United attack at the moment. You kind of prefer it when they're not dominating the possession because
Mm.
at least the opposition attacks with more creativity than United do right now. Yeah, so they got the win. That's all that mattered. You can feel the confidence of the players is gone. I mean, even in the stadium from the fans, you just feel that confidence
I
is
mean,
gone.
they booed them off
The
at half
last-
time. They
this
put them off at half time. So
it wasn't as bad as the one week the game before, so
mm,
I didn't see it as that bad. But they're struggling. I mean, they keep conceding the first goal. First time the opposition attack they score just shows how fragile they are.
mm,
They're very very fragile when it comes to set pieces. Uh, and yeah, you got Brentford who have Pinnock, they got
yeah,
they got 6'5", not just 6 foot, they got 6'5" defenders, and
yeah,
all you're doing is crossing the ball into the box for Rasmus Højlund. It's what kind of football is that?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
the moment Garnacho came on, and that was where actually everything changed because guess what? The crowd cheered when Rashford got.
Rashford went off. Yeah,
That was the first time the fans were actually there was a bit of positivity in the stadium. Yeah, and that's what they needed. They needed that support from the fans. And when they brought McTominay and Garnacho on, suddenly you had a few players one weren't so predictable. And I do think by luck, it ended up a saving grace was the fact that Bruno Fernandes went hiding and was becoming more and more drifting into the back and just to get the ball and do his thing. But he actually saved United because he stopped getting in the way of the attacks. Because this is the first time I have to say he kept making the wrong pass, making the wrong, and he kept delaying everything. And he was like, you just felt like you
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't involved. You wish he wasn't involved because there was a promising situation which he just killed because he took 4 or 5 touches of the ball when he just needed to get it out, play the player through. So he could tell his confidence is gone at the moment.
Yeah.
He's not playing to his natural level. And it kind of helped him dropping deep and not being involved because there's a moment where he kept following the ball, literally wanting to take it off the defender's feet, and they kept passing it to Amrabat, and Amrabat was literally dictating the game from left back, and you could tell Fernandes getting fed up, and I was like, we're actually attacking better now. We're actually got a bit of tempo now because not everything is going through Fernandes.
Fernandes.
He takes 5, 6 looks and then dinks it out wide, and then someone just crosses it. So yeah, character, they were lucky. Very harsh on Brentford.
Yeah, I thought they at least deserved a point, but I mean
I mean,
the winning goal at the combination is the two players that you tried selling to West Ham, Maguire and McTominay.
yeah, what can I say? West Ham's loss is United's gain. West Ham will regret that when they miss out on Europe. United just make the Conference League ahead of West Ham. No. But thing is, I mean, we're saying Brentford, well, they were really poor in the second half of it. They just sat off. So
Yeah,
they did lack ambition. I know right near the end, they had a couple of shots from, Mope and Nogard had couple of free headers from set pieces. But if they really wanted to, they could have gone for the kill and they didn't show that ambition
yeah,
because
yeah.
United were getting more and more desperate. And I felt definitely in the changes and everything, Brentford went negative and didn't react in a positive way. And maybe if they did, I think they could have got nicked a second.
Maybe because of they haven't been winning many games recently. Maybe that's why it was in the back of like they thought a point away at United or even like at that stage it was a win away at United 1-0 was still good enough rather than go for that risk.
I think what it is when Brentford started the season, they're winning because they all wanted to prove something that they're not just a one-man team. It's not all about Tony. And now that kind of drive and that motivation has gone because they've already proven that they got a few wins. And now you're starting to see the effect of not having Tony in the team, the other stuff that he brings, especially when the team sits off. You ping the ball up, he will get that ball down, bring players in. They've now lost that. So you're seeing other elements that Tony brought to the team, and it's probably affecting them. Affecting probably the reason why they're getting pegged back a lot is because and they were tired. I mean, they are not the fittest team, which surprised me. Second half, they were fighting a lot. They're
I
struggling.
mean, it's weird because they're not in a European league or anything, so they shouldn't really be any excuse for being tired. But what do you make of Onana? I mean, I personally I thought that's another mistake from him. He should have saved it. It was a very slow shot.
Yeah, he definitely should have saved it. Could have easily gone with 2 hands.
Yeah,
You have scooped it up if you wanted to. That's how slow it was. So, yeah, another mistake. But again, you can see his confidence is shot. Another player whose confidence is shot. And I think, those 2 saves that he did towards the end, they're relatively off-center saves that he made flamboyant. But he needs that. He needs a bit of confidence right now. He's making blunders every game, and you could see in his celebration, he ran all the way up the pitch, celebrating with McTominay. He needed that because ultimately he has got winning mentality, and obviously for a team that is so wired to win, or certain players are wired to win, when you lose a couple of times, they don't know how to come back from that, and you see that in Fernandez, in Onana. Obviously, in Onana's case, he has made high-profile mistakes, so it's naturally going to hit his confidence more. But yeah, I mean, let's see. It's still hard watch watching
Yeah.
United.
Well, I mean, coming back from international duty, they go out Sheffield away, then Man City, Fulham away, Luton. So
Yeah, they've got. I mean, but they've
not
lost to.
enough games.
They've been outplayed by the teams everyone thought they're gonna win comfortably. So I'm not sure if I should be confident or not.
Well,
But
but that 2 week break maybe gives them that chance to kind of regroup and get a bit more confidence within themselves, etc. So
I don't know. Most of the players are going to earn internationally. I don't think you can. But one thing I would say is just an afterthought again, uh, being a United guy, is that there's similarities, but for different reasons with the Solskjaer reign, where you know United have gone through every single type of manager now. They've
yeah,
gone. They've had the managers who think they're bigger than the club in Mourinho. Then they've had the players' manager in Oli, who's a yes man, and now they've got a disciplinarian, and none of it's working.
no,
Ultimately, last year there were. If you look at all of them, the main thing was you didn't under, no one knew what the philosophy was, but no one knew what the identity was. Last season felt like Ten Hag was doing that. And then he made a choice this summer, and I see a lot of similarities in the decision making process to what Arteta did at Arsenal, which he had relative success at the beginning, won a trophy, and then they decided to accelerate their plans that summer and really get rid of the troublemakers and the people who don't fit in with his philosophy and identity. And they went for the kill, and that kind of destabilized them, where they had a 3 month period where they're really struggling.
mm,
I genuinely think a similar thing has happened where because of the trophies they won and the finals they went to and the amount of games they played, uh, the impatience came in and they thought, you know what, let's actually get rid of all the players I don't rate. And that's where Ten Hag has messed up because ultimately he had a choice between good characters or technical players. And he went for the technical players, who probably aren't good characters or good at creating a good culture in the club. The Fernandez, the Dallos, the prima donnas, and the going gets tough.
yeah, yeah,
At each other. They're not stepping up. But with the Wan Bissaka's and the McTominays and the Maguire, even if they got less ability, they will still give 100%. They will still organize. They will still communicate. They won't hide. And obviously that's the choice he's made, and it's kind of backfired because they haven't been able to get rid of the players like Arsenal were able to, number one. And number two, their financial situation hasn't allowed them to make, because with Arteta, you look at the whole resurgence of Arsenal, it was based on unknown players, or promising players that weren't the top. They
with
took a
potential.
gamble on Tomiyasu. They took a gamble on these players who were promising, but by no means the finished article.
No,
Odegaard, a bit of a journeyman. They took gamble on good talents, but he backed his coaching ability. Arsenal, United have gone down the mode of getting ready-made replacements for high money, big egos, and that's the difference. When you got technical players who don't have the right mentality, it's a bad mix. And but I do see similarities in the project in what they're trying to do. Maybe the revolution came because they won trophies. He got a bit carried away. Instead of doing it subtly, he's alienating his squad by letting everyone know that
who's in and who's out of the squad? Yeah.
who's his favorite players.
Mm. I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic came out and called him out, didn't he? What did he say? He goes, "Yeah, you got to look at where he came from, or something like that." I don't know. Down the line, I
And
don't
the thing is, it's a valid point, and he does know a thing or two because he's an Ajax legend as well.
know.
He's a product of the Dutch League too, so he knows the differences. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. I mean, Ten Hag has shown if he's if it's given the support and the time like Arteta did, I do still think he will fix it. But
Mm.
it's whether he can, have enough time to right the wrongs of the mistakes he's made this summer. But time will tell. He definitely you feel like if they lost yesterday, it would have been hard.
It would have got really difficult. It would have got really difficult.
He's on a tightrope because the fans are going even more anti-Glazer
Yeah.
in the stadium. So that's always a sign that the manager's under pressure because when the
No,
board
but
is
that gives them a good relief, good relief going into that game. Maybe they can come into the Sheffield game a bit more, a bit more fresher. So, yeah, potentially good upscale for them. I think that's it really for this week. For those of you watching, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.